What's up, guys? We got one here from Peas World. Let's get into it.
I do get very triggered around going to my brother's at Christmas and all the kids being there, and I'm the only single person there. And I've started feeling, I mean, he doesn't know this, but I feel such, I can't help it. And it brings me shame. But like when I see his kids who have now got girlfriends and boyfriends, I feel such shame. And it's awful because I don't want to be that person. I want to be like proud auntie and the auntie that they all get on with, and you know, but I get so sort of locked in my shame that I then don't become the best person in the room because I stop talking.
Yeah, so we got the classic holiday shame spiral. I mean, you walk into a family gathering and it's like a Hallmark card puked all over the place. Perfect couples, giggling kids, and then you, the solo act. I mean, look, you're 44, single, no kids, and you're going to feel out of place. You've hit the wall and you're not going to have what they have. And if that's what you want, then don't worry about society's guilt trip for not fitting their cookie cutter mold. Life isn't a Hallmark movie. Something tells me it's regret for not having what they have.
Pisses me off is the discourse around how women only go for the top 15% of men. Like, am I supposed to be going for the fat loser who doesn't have a job and lives at home? Am I supposed to be attracted to that? Obviously, I'm going to be attracted to the guy who's ambitious, the guy who's manly, the guy who takes care of himself and his health and works out, the guy who's tall, the guy who's going to give my kids good genetics. Why on earth would I be attracted to the fat loser? Or any loser for that matter. Even an average guy. Like, why, if I could pick the best of the best, why would I be attracted to the mid-tier? Like, hello. Especially if I'm a top quality girl.
The problem is that when you as a woman describe a top tier man and all you're describing is physical traits and how much money he makes, the fact that that is what you're focused on tells everyone that you are not a top tier woman. And it is only a top tier woman that is going to solidify a long-term relationship with a top tier man. And that's what a lot of women don't understand. Like, redefine your definition of a top tier man, because I think there's a lot of other important qualities in a long-term relationship partner that you need to look for.
So you're a top quality girl who only deserves the top 15% of men? I mean, let's break this down. You want a tall, rich Adonis while crying that the rest of the male population is undateable. You know those top guys you're chasing have options. And guess what? They probably don't want a delusional princess. Statistically, only 14% of U.S. men are over 6 feet tall, and the top 1% earn $500,000 plus a year. You may as well start lining up because you and a million others are swiping right on the same guy.
Straight men need to step up their game and relationally with women, or they are going to be pushed out. We really are seeing this play out in real time through the 4B movement. If you're not aware of this movement, it's a radical feminist movement that originated in South Korea, but it has gone global in recent months. And the focus of it is decentering men, but in a very hardcore way. Straight women specifically are committing to not only never marrying men, but never being in relationships with men or dating men, and more significantly, to never having sex with men. And we are at a very interesting point in history now where sex toy technology is so good that women do not need men in a sex context. And there's obviously been a trend for a while now of women committing to platonic life partnerships, which is where they move in together with a best friend of the same gender and have a completely but committed lifelong relationship, because they are finding more meaning in that relationship and more connection and support and validation than what they are getting through their relationships with men. I think for so long men have seen it as some kind of threat that they can make, like, well, you need men, like, what will you do without us? But women are literally at a point where they are so fed up that they are saying, we don't care. We are just really sick of men's shit. This is the consequence of toxic masculinity. This is the consequence of this whole alpha male movement that was led by the likes of Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson, telling men that women need to go back to traditional gender roles. Women need to go back to the kitchen. Women can't have only pages. They can't have Instagram accounts. They can't wear certain items of clothing. Women are just like, that. We're just going to do us. And if the human race dies out because we're no longer procreating, then so be it.
So the 4B movement, women decentering men and shacking up with their besties forever. This is rich. I mean, yeah, let's rewrite biology while we're at it. The irony is these same women will be crying over wine nights about loneliness in the 10 years. Here's the truth. Here's the truth. Toxic masculinity that they're railing against is what built every comfort they enjoy. The roads, the houses, the iPhones are texting we don't need men from, all thanks thanks to men. As for sex tech, good luck raising a family with your vibrator.
My perspective and approach to dating men completely changed after I started coaching them because I found out what they actually wanted, not just what I thought they wanted as a female. I grew up in an era where women were just starting to take hold of their independence. With that, I thought high value for men meant same as men. So in my mind, it was only logical if I want a man who's rich, successful, wealthy, I have to also be rich, successful, wealthy. Whenever I would go on dates with men, I would tell them about all my accolades and all the accomplishments and all the countries I'd gone to, and I thought, wow, I'm so cool. Doesn't he see how cool I am? Unfortunately, what I didn't realize, what they didn't tell me, was, oh no, he doesn't think you're cool, he thinks you're competitive. He doesn't think you're competitive because you are having all of these accomplishments. It's in the way that we were taught how to present the accomplishments. So when I started coaching men, really high net worth, successful individuals, I realized they don't care how much money a woman makes. They don't care about her career. High value for a man does not mean you do what the man does. High value for men is completely different than what we as women perceive as high value. They lied to us when they said we also had to be providers. They lied to us when they said we also had to have all these accomplishments and try to have these purpose and all these things that are outside of the home. It doesn't mean you can't also enjoy those things or don't have to, but men find value not from the job that you have or the accomplishments that you have, but from the peace that you bring, from the energy that you give. Women are meant to see the world in a beautiful way, and men are meant to protect women from the badness of the world so they can keep showing how beautiful the world is to the man. Once I realized this, it actually changed my entire life, not just dating, because I realized how much internalized shame I had around being a woman because I saw women as weak. I saw the roles that women naturally wanted to do as weak, and I was ashamed actually to want to be feminine. I thought, if I do that, no one's going to take me seriously, no one's going to love me, and I can't possibly bring value into the world by wanting to express myself as a woman. What we need to realize is that equality does not mean sameness. Men and women each have their own biological drives that make them so unique and different, but also complementary. And it's complementary for a reason. If we could truly survive without each other, we wouldn't have a drive to be with each other. I truly believe that if men and women felt safe enough to just embrace their biological urges and adapt them to the modern world, and we could actually heal this polarity between us.
Yeah, a lot of what she's saying is not wrong, but let me see if I could break this down in fewer words. Ladies, men do not care about your resume. They care about the peace that you bring to their chaos. Nobody told you that flexing your LinkedIn profile on the first date makes you look competitive, not attractive. And guess what? Men don't see femininity as weakness. It's your superpower. The modern feminist lie that you have to outman men has left you lonely, bitter, and confused. Men and women complement each other for a reason. Accept it, embrace it, and you might actually be happy instead of chasing an imaginary prize.
2 racist experiences from Argentinians in the last week. The first one, I was working business class and I'm taking orders, as we do in business class. We take orders for what you want to eat. I'm working my way up to this gentleman. I get to him and I'm like, hey sir, did you get a look at the menu? This man does this. Completely ignores me. I see earphones. Like, maybe he's on the phone. I'll come back. I go take everybody else's order. I come back to him. I'm like, hey, sir, did you get a chance to look at the menu? He does this. I'm gagged. I'm like, I've never been shooed away before like I'm some fly, but okay, maybe he doesn't want food. Maybe he doesn't want to eat anything. Cool. So then, mind you, I'm with my afro out because I leave my hair out when I'm taking preferences, and then I tie it up for the service. He goes to my other coworker. Mind you, blonde hair, blue eyes. He goes and tells her, she's working the other side. I'm working his side. She's working this side. He goes up to her and tells her, I want you to serve me. If she serves me, I'm not gonna eat. So I'm like, then she tells me he told her I was being rude to him. I asked him 2 questions, 2 separate times. What do you want to eat? Somehow I was rude. And y'all know me, I'm smiley, I'm happy, I'm bubbly. But somehow I was rude. Honestly, I already know what was up. He didn't want the girl with the afro to serve him his food. I get it. Then, last night, I could tell they were Argentinian because their accent immediately. We're doing the briefing for the exit rolls, and we asked, as we're supposed to do, hey, are you over the age of 15 and are you willing and able to help in case of an emergency? The woman looks at my coworker that asked her like, looking around for as if she wasn't talking straight to her. So then I tell her in Spanish, I'm like, señora, tienes que entender inglés para sentarte en la silla de emergencia. Te puedes sentar aquí atrás o si tienes otra persona puedes cambiar. Basically, in the exit roll, you gotta understand English in case of an emergency, because not all of us are gonna speak your language, but all of us are gonna speak English, and very quickly at that. So her daughter comes up like, what are you doing? I paid extra for this seat for my mom to have extra leg room. And I'm like, I understand, but to sit in the emergency exit, you have to understand English. In case of an emergency, we're gonna be shouting commands in English, and we can only have people here that understand and can follow commands in case of an emergency. That's the whole point of an emergency exit roll. So I say all that in Spanish to her. Then my other coworker comes back like, oh, are you guys gonna switch? And then she starts again with my coworker attacking her. Obviously, another black woman. She starts attacking her like, oh, who are you? You're just a flight attendant. You can't tell me I paid for this seat. I'm like, ma'am, I understand. Can you just switch with your mom, please? She's like, okay. Then she brings another girl because that row was empty. She brings another girl. So she paid for one seat, but then got another seat for free. At the end of the flight, she goes up to my coworker, talking about, what's your name? I'm gonna write you up. You were so rude. I'm like, all we told you was that you have to switch. So then at the end of the flight, she goes up to the lead flight attendant, talking about, oh, esa negrita ya fue, da, 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 da. And I'm like, negrita, that's how you, and that right there confirmed that she was Argentinian. Because I'm telling you, the most racist experiences I've experienced in my life have been in Argentina. Because when I have my hair like this, when I have my hair curly, when I have an afro, when my hair is straight, I'm Latina passing, I'm white passing because I'm melanin deficient. But that right there is why I stopped straightening my hair for work, especially going to Argentina, because if you're racist, I want to know that you're racist. And just some background on Argentina and why they're so racist, in case y'all didn't know. One, after the war, all the Nazis fled to Argentina. They have literal Nazi museums in Argentina. When the rest of the world was freeing enslaved Africans, Argentina chose to murder all enslaved Africans because they did not want black citizens living amongst them. But yeah, that's my story time. The more melanin rich you are, the worse you get treated. To me, in Argentina, they're way more racist than the United States. But I don't live there. I'm just talking about from my own experience and their history.
Address the guy that was up in business class. I could tell you, I've seen a lot of people in business first class, especially on the international flights, that are absolute fucking assholes, acting so entitled because they're sitting up there. Big fucking deal. Your shit stinks as much as the next person. And what she's talked about, I've seen it happen too, where I'm dealing with a flight attendant and we're talking about whatever the conversation may be, and then some dude getting jealous because he's not getting her attention or whatever. I mean, I really don't give a shit. But yeah, up in the business class areas, I'm not surprised. I mean, just traveling in general anymore, seeing people in the aircrafts, a lot of people just being bitchy and dicks, just doesn't surprise me. But yeah, with this Argentinian serving up his racism with a side of bad manners. I mean, listen, this guy is refusing service, but accepted it from the blonde wasn't subtle. He's basically a relic from the Argentinian history, which, by the way, does include the Nazi vacations and a mass deletion, I guess is the best way to put it, of enslaved Africans. You got to look at the Argentinian history. I mean, it'll make your head spin. But yeah, the racism, entitlement, ignorance, it's a trifecta of toxicity. And her story does highlight the ugly truth that some people wear their bigotry like a badge. And no, your afro isn't the problem. It's just our small-mindedness. I don't have anything negative to say about this lady. I see a lot of shit that these flight attendants put up with on flights. I mean, like I've said in the past, I go back and forth over the pond roughly every 6 weeks. I believe, thankfully, this will be my last hop over the pond, since my wife will be coming over here sooner than later. Thank God. Not in a bad way. I don't mind going over, but traveling does take a toll on you after a while. I'm at a point now I don't even know what time zone I'm in anymore. I'm not acclimating over there. I'm not acclimating here. But anyways, our reoccurring theme that we have here is entitlement, delusions, and misplaced priorities. It's both in men and women. Society's obsession with power struggles between genders, combined with decades of corporate-driven lies, has everyone confused, lonely, and bitter. Destruction of family units and a rise of radical movements only deepen the divide. Men are going their own way, women are doubling down on independence, and no one's winning. Men and women need to embrace their natural roles while respecting each other's individuality. And stop letting corporate elites and social media dictate your worth. Build meaningful connections, create families, and fight the system that's profiling off your misery. Anyways, guys, it's the end of the video here today. If you like what you've seen, hit that like button, share, subscribe. Drop me a comment down below what you think. Otherwise, I will catch you on the next one. Peace.